got big dreams, I'ma do big things. Yeah, you see me on the big screen looking so clean. I don't move slow, I move fast right past.
What is going on, guys? Samuxplays here, and today I wanted to talk about the latest patch and then also the future of TFD. The First Descendant released a video about 14 hours ago showcasing what we were getting in Season 3. It's basically going to consist of a new area with vehicles as well as like player housing and things like that. You might have already seen it. We saw this like a month ago. Somebody uploaded it to Reddit. I believe he did the interview on March 17th. If you haven't seen it though, I'll link the video. Basically, he goes over the struggles of running a live service game. He said that they made $100 million in revenue and that you know, they had a lot of trouble as far as like content and things like that, you know, with season 1 and season 2 releases, etc, right? It's a 20-minute long video. It's not that long, so if you guys want to go watch it, as I said, I'll link it. But I kind of wanted to get my thoughts and kind of where I'm at with the First Descendant. Now, if you haven't watched the past, like, I don't know, 2 videos, I can't remember which video it was, but basically we talked about it not that long ago. They were kind of having like troubles keeping up with like content release dates, as well as we had a lot of players that were just getting frustrated with the game because it was the same thing like pretty much every update. I made a video about my criticisms with it, and also I feel like the video I was generally pretty positive. I ended up reacting to one of Clyde's videos and kind of responding to him and what he had to say, which I think he had a lot of good points, but I think the update previous where they introduced the arcade tuning board, I personally like that update. I think it was just a good addition to the game. It kind of gives you a reason to like play more than just like a couple minutes, right? You know, if you want to keep farming Sigma Sector to level up your arcade tuning board, it gives you more things to do in the game. And as I always say, like, the more things we have to do in the game, the more incentive you have to log in. It is really good, right? Now, of course, a lot of people's argument to that was that, you know, that why would I level the arcade tuning board? I'm already downing everything in like a second anyways, which is fair, right? But I don't know, I like power progression in games. Sure, the balance is like pretty off right now, you know. I feel like there's not like too much challenge in the game. This is coming from someone who has been playing it. I have 1,000 hours in the game, so obviously my characters are, you know, pretty good, but honestly nowadays it doesn't take that long to max a character. Somebody could catch up to my power level probably within a day. You just need to, you know, level up Serena and, you know, farm some cores, basically, is what it is. So, but regardless of that, I do think that a lot of things in the game definitely need to be rebalanced as far as like the boss fights. The amount of content we have in the game is like way more than we had on season 1 release, but it's still not really at a place to where it's like very exciting to keep logging in like every single day to run Sigma Sector or you know, 400% dungeons. Like, these things are really cool when they come out, but once you run them enough, you know, once you run Void Erosion Purge 100 times, once you run Void Vessel 100 times, Sigma Sector, you know, these things get very stale, and there needs to be some sort of element to keep it interesting and keeping you wanting to grind. So if you don't have a challenge in the game and you're already downing everything and there's nothing really to challenge you, then there's not really an incentive to grind. So, and I think the devs already like address this. As he said in the video, you know, he said that the main issue that they are struggling with is like content. Like, they are aware that they have not released really end game content to where you can kind of grind, look for upgrades, and fight this like uber boss. You know, you're not really like they kind of did with like I guess the uber bosses in this game would be like, you know, Tormentor or something, but he pretty much just falls over if you have like a built Serena, right? People are downing him in like a second. So I don't know, I think they can definitely do some neat things. I think there definitely needs to be some sort of like challenge in the game to where I want to log in and be like, I am building up to go fight these bosses or whatever that are supposed to be like extremely strong. And, you know, a lot of people made a good point, right? They're like, well, if I have to farm the bosses like 100 times to get what I want, I would rather it be downed in like a second and it not take 3 to 4 minutes each time, right? So I do think that's good. I think the like super end game bosses going forward should just drop like unique loot, right? That you can only get from them, and then it's like a massive upgrade. I don't think the boss fights should be like super easy. But I also don't think they should be like super hardcore to where it's like, you know, a large majority of the player base like can't interact with it, right? It has to have some sort of like middle ground to where it is like, you know, it is achievable if you put in the work, right? Like I feel like that is the best of both worlds. The casual players can, you know, have it be easy enough mechanics where the casual players can do it, but also like, you know, the like hardcore players can also, you know what I'm saying? Like they have a little bit of a challenge to kind of like be like, okay, well, how can I change my build to make this different? Or, you know, if they want to like speed run it or whatever, it's fine, right? But there always needs to be that power progression in games like these, just because I think people lose interest. It's the same thing in like PoE 2, right? You kind of like you know, you farm, try and get your build as powerful as you can, and then you go fight these uber bosses, right? Also, I think like they need to have like just more things in general to do in the game, right? Right now it's just pretty much you just like queue up from Albion, zone into all these dungeons, and then do the dungeon, and that's pretty much it, right? As I've said before, I think variety is good. I think we need some variety, and as I said, the devs know this. They're gonna be adding some in-game content. I'll go ahead and bring up the plans for Season 3 just in case you haven't seen it. Alright, here we go. And so this is a video they just dropped last night. As I said, the community was already aware of this because we figured this out like a month ago, right? But they just released a video today, you know, like it's a fully translated video, so if you want to, you can go watch that, and it's a good watch. I watched it, you know, it's basically the devs were talking about like the struggles and stuff like that, yeah, what they plan to do going forward, etc, etc. So we're going to be getting a new field called Axion. They're saying it's enormous, right? Because they're also adding vehicles, so obviously the zone is intended to be huge, right? If there's vehicles, that means the zone is going to be like really big. They're also adding filled Colossus battles, which this is something that people have been asking for a lot, and then player housing essentially is what I'm guessing lounge means. So they are adding a lot of interesting things. This is going to be coming out in July. So this is not going to be with the May update. The May update is going to be the dynamic motions update. But yeah, this, I mean, this looks really good, right? They basically said that like they're not going to be trying to push out like a lot of patches, and they're just going to focus on like one really big patch. I don't know where it is in the video. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I believe that that's what they said. They wanted to release like really big patches, which is, they wanted Season 3 to be like really big. Which I think is good, because I've said this like in multiple videos. I think that just releasing like a new Descendant story, a new Descendant, and then like a variation of a reskin of a boss with like one new dungeon is like, that's not really enough. Like players will come back and play it for like a few days, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be enough to like retain players, right? Like they'll come in, they'll grind the new ultimate, and then they'll go beat the dungeon like probably for a day or two, and then that's pretty much it, right? Like, so I think this is going to be really good. It kind of depends how they do it. So like obviously I would like to see the difficulty scaled up with the filled Colossus battles. I think if they went the World of Warcraft route, or like, you know, the PoE 2 route, where you know, these unique bosses give you like tier gear or something like that, to where it's like a really rare drop, incentivizes you to farm, and if they up the difficulty, you know, you get like tier loot that's very good, right? Like it gives you a reason to want to go and down these bosses, or you can earn like some sort of currency that you go trade with a vendor, etc, if you wanted to go like the World of Warcraft route. There's a lot of cool things they could do with this game, and I hope the devs kind of figure out what it is that they want to do with the game. I do think difficulty is a pretty big problem, at least for the players who have been at in-game for a while. Obviously, if you're new, the game's going to seem like really hard to you because you're not like fully built up yet, right? But once you're fully built up and you're like, you have like a build on a correct Descendant, they've made it super like fast now to where if you wanted to just max out a Descendant really fast, you could do that with like event boosters, external components to up your XP. You could get it done in a few hours, right? And then you'll just like dominate everything in the game. So I would like to see, you know, I would like to see the difficulty kind of scaled up a little bit. I don't think it would be too much fun if it's supposed to be like this epic thing where like, oh, a Colossus spawned in the area I'm in, and then you just down it in like 1 second, right? I don't think that would be too much fun. But I don't know, we'll see. We'll have to see how they do it. Player Lounge is always good. TFD devs have always been extremely good with quality of life updates, as well as just like skins and, you know, stuff like that. They actually released this emote, which is hilarious, by the way. It's gonna work really well in May. I think you guys will enjoy this. Here, let me boot up TFD. Hold on. All right, let's see. So I booted up the game, and then alright, and then this is going to be the new emote that they released. You can get it from the shop. Of course I bought it, right guys? Of course I bought it. But you know, it's just like little small things like this that is just kind of keeps the game kind of like funny and entertaining, and obviously just down bad, right? When they add the dynamic motion update, these emotes are gonna like go crazy, by the way. Not that I would know. I don't, you know, not, you know, it is what it is, right? Not that I'm planning to use this emote for anything, guys. Like, for sure, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But anyways, they added that to the shop, and they added like this other emote. I don't have the other one, so I can't show you guys. But you know, they're adding like some things as far as like cosmetics and quality of life and things like that, right? As far as this patch though, I did get my ultimate Blair belt up. I'm still leveling them, but I did unlock them and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't like super hyped for ultimate Blair, if I'm being honest. It was kind of just, you know, another Descendant to level up. I think his character design looks amazing. I think he looks awesome, and I think he is fun to play. But you know, it's just, I don't know. The guy Descendants in these games are just kind of underpowered in my opinion. You know, back in the day, Lepic wasn't. He was like one-shotting Frostwalker, right? But since we've gotten all the ladies, they're just like way better versions, right? So I think like probably with balance patches, hopefully the guys will kind of get some love and they'll become a little bit more powerful. I'm gonna level them up casually. I was gonna do like a video on them, but I feel like there's so many like guide videos out there already. I was just like, whatever, bro, you know what I mean? But I think I like his character design, and I like his flamethrower skills and stuff like that. But again, this is kind of like a filler patch, right? There's not really too much to do. There's, you know, you just unlock ultimate Blair, you can do the storyline if you want to, and then that's pretty much like it for this patch, right? So this is basically, we're kind of in like a filler arc until season 3. So yeah, I mean, I think even the update in May, like I don't expect it to be anything big. I just expect them to be adding the like dynamic motion, right? But yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts on this patch. I think it's I think they're doing a good job as far as like quality of life and things like that. You know, they added a new reactor system. Let me go over here so I can show you guys, just in case you guys didn't know this, they added a new reactor system. You can max your reactors without having to like farm for the perfect one. So if I go over here, reactor option enhancement, so it's going to be this one right here, and then you can select which reactor you want, and you can now use materials to level up the reactor. So I thought this was a great quality of life update. You know, it's basically if you get the correct stats on your reactor, but it's not like maxed out, then, you know, if it's not maxed out, you can basically just boost it to those max levels, right? So I think that's really good for the game. Definitely a big W here. Overall though, as I said guys, I think TFD is doing good. I'm going to continue to play the game and support the game and all that good stuff. It just needs more time to cook. There's a lot of big things coming to the game, and I think the devs will just keep getting better and better and better. They just need some time to keep cooking, right? as he says in that video, the main issue they struggle with is releasing like in-game content and just content in general. So in time, I think the game will just keep evolving. We'll have like a lot more things to do, and I think it'll be good, right? Till then, we're kind of in like a filler arc, but I still think it's fun to log in and just like, you know, do your dailies, mess around a little bit, maybe try out some weird builds and stuff like that. Maybe play some of the like underpowered Descendants as like a challenge. That's usually what I do. I'll hop on like Valby or something. They need to like buff Valby again. IMO, I think she needs some love for sure. But you know, it's kind of a good side game to play for right now. And then, you know, once they drop that like mega update patch, then you know, hopefully it's really good. I think it'll be a lot of like a make or break for people, you know. Hopefully the patch has to be good, bro. This like season 3 has to go hard to just bring a lot of players back. Like I'm really hoping for their success, because they need to release some amazing stuff. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's pretty good, right? Now, is it going to be done correctly? That is the question. We have to wait and see. But I am going to be super interested to play it in July, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I think the W devs, W new reactor system, Ultimate Blair, for me personally, I was like, yeah, it's cool. You know, I wasn't like super hyped about it, but I still think he's a cool character. I'm sure a lot of other people out there love Ultimate Blair, right? For me personally, though, it was I pretty much just logged in, crafted them, leveled them up a little bit, and then kind of like I was like, you know. But I think the game's still good. I think it just needs a little bit of time to kind of like come into its own, and the devs kind of need to like figure out what they want the game to be and what type of content they want to release to keep player retention. So, and I think we'll get there, right? At least for me personally, I'll check it out each update, and I'll always cover the game when they release new content. So that being said, one final thing I wanted to mention before I let you guys go. This is sort of like a channel update. I kind of said this in my last video, but just in case you didn't see it, I am going to be implementing other games into my channel. There's just simply not enough things for me to do in the First Descendant for it to be my only game. Up until this point, I have only released the First Descendant content, so I know I'm kind of like, my channel is kind of just like a TFD channel, right? But you know, I do enjoy playing other games. My plan is to start making PoE 2 videos, beginner guides, you know, things like that. I really enjoy that game. I have a lot of fun playing it, and so yeah, that's my plan going forward. And I'm also going to cover like Silk Song is one I'm really looking forward to. Basically, I just want to start introducing new games to the channel, because yeah, there's just not enough content in TFD that I haven't already done a video on to release constantly. So I feel like, you know, I just kind of want to try other things. Definitely doesn't mean that I am done with TFD by any means. TFD is one of my most played games of all time, and I plan to keep playing it and making content on it. But at the end of the day, sometimes you know, I like to do other things, and I want to make content on other things besides just TFD, right? So if you don't play Path of Exile, I don't expect you to watch the videos. You know, you can just follow me for the TFD content, or if you just watch me because you like hearing my thoughts, or whatever the reason is, you watch me for my guides, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did in TFD and PoE. Just because that's what I enjoy playing right now. These are like my two favorite games, so I want to make content on it. And yeah, so if you see a like sudden switch to like different games, it doesn't mean that I'm done with TFD. It just means I'm playing other stuff. I just want to make that clear, because usually when creators start playing other games, people are always like, oh, are you finished with TFD? Why aren't you playing TFD? You know, no, I love TFD. I'm going to keep playing it. I'm just waiting for the like mega update, right? So yeah, anyways, that's it, guys. That's my thoughts on the new patch and the future patch. Overall, as I said, I think we're in a filler arc and all that good stuff. But anyways, I'm Samuxplays. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you still having fun with TFD? Do you play it every day still? Do you have things to do, etc., etc.? I'd be very interested to know. Let me know, guys. Let me know. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace out. I'm Samuxplays. I'll see y'all in Albion, and I will see y'all for the up and coming PoE 2 videos. So y'all take care. Peace.